You're listening to the Basketball Lab podcast with your hosts Mark Shannon, Mark Clark, and Marco Corona. They'll discuss all the top news and stories from around the basketball world while giving their opinion and insight. Now, here are your hosts.
Welcome back to another episode of the Basketball Lab podcast. I'm your host, Mark Shannon, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mark Clark and Marco Corona. The NBA draft, it's NBA draft eve, I should say. You know, the NBA draft is tomorrow. There's lots to talk about. There's lots of trades that have been bandied about in terms of, trade talk for picks and stuff. But we got to talk about our draft picks, who we think is going to go in the top three, top five, whatever it is. So let's start it off. Let's get this going right off the hop here. So the number one team, Minnesota Timberwolves, have that number one overall selection. There's a lot of places they can go with this. A lot of picks they can use in terms of like where they can go, who they could draft, what needs they have, because it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, they have a lot of needs, and they've had a lot of needs for a few years, a lot of years. Starting with the Timberwolves, who do you guys have going number one overall? The big question.
To me, I think it's a no-brainer considering everything you just said about Minnesota. And if I'm Minnesota and I have the number one pick, I hold on to that pick with dear life, and I take LaMelo Ball. For two reasons. Number one, he's a really good player. But number two, he is the most branded-like player on a franchise that needs somebody to drive that organization to that next level, right? So it's a double-edged sword here because the kid is talented. And shout out to Clark, who's been talking about this guy for like the last 2 years. He was telling people LaMelo Ball before I even knew who. I'm like, who's playing in China? I'm a little kid playing in China.
That's true.
I'm telling you right now, the Twins. The Timberwolves should take this kid number one overall. Take the best prospect available. 6'6" guard. Listen, it fills their need, and when fans do come back, and we hope that it's soon, it will fill some seats as well. So I think that's consensus number one if I'm the Timberwolves.
I completely agree with everything that you just said about Melo Ball. Elite player. The T-Wolves should pick him, but it's 2020. The T-Wolves are going to mess up, and they're going to go with Anthony Edwards for number one. That's what I think, and that's who I think is actually going to go number one. Anthony Edwards from Georgia, guard. His scoring abilities is really elite. He's very athletic. He's pretty good on defense too. So I think that the T-Wolves going to go ahead and grab him for the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Mark. I don't think that it's that far out of the realm that they draft Anthony Edwards. I think he's the best player in this draft, in my opinion. I think he's got the most upside in this draft, the most potential to take over a game with his athleticism, his scoring ability. We've seen that this year in college basketball, what he was able to do. But at Georgia, he's 6'4", 225, but he's a perfect fit for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've got D'Angelo Russell as a point guard. They've got Karl Anthony Towns as their number one center. So James Wiseman, they don't need a center because they got Cat. They really don't need LaMelo Ball because they've got D'Angelo Russell. But they could always go with LaMelo Ball and move D'Angelo to the 2 spot.
Yeah.
But, you get probably like I said, I think he's the best scorer in this draft. At best guard in this draft in terms of that. He's a good defender. He plays
good
both
vision.
ends. Yeah, he plays both ends of the court. He's got good vision. That's what I think, and I think that would be the smartest choice for them going forward. But we know the Minnesota Timberwolves don't always draft smart. They always sometimes they just draft just to draft. But they could always trade this pick. But I do think they keep it, and I do think they take Anthony Edwards with the number one overall pick.
Yeah, I think he's the best fit for them too.
Okay. So you got Edwards. So I got Melo going 1 to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Clark, you got Melo also going 1 to Minnesota, and you got Edwards.
No,
He's got Edwards too.
So both of you guys have Edwards.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm writing this down.
Number two overall selection, the Golden State Warriors. Did you guys ever think we'd be saying Golden State Warriors, number 2 selection, while they still have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green on their roster?
Wow. In football, you have bye weeks. This is their bye year.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a perfect case of the rich get richer, right? They had a bad year. And if you really think about it, they picked the best year to have a bad year. It was a pandemic. It was an odd year. It was just obviously injuries and stuff like that. Obviously, you don't want injuries to happen, but it was bound to happen that this team took a step back. I just didn't think that it was going to happen in this manner. And the funny part is that it's going to be a quick turnaround. I think they're going to be back right where they left off.
They're going to be top 5.
So, in my opinion, in saying all that, I think there's one need that they do require. And in my opinion, the best fit, if I'm Golden State, is James Wiseman and the number 2 pick, right? Now, I know that you guys have Edwards, and I sort of tossed with this idea on what what would be best for them. But for now, I think that Wiseman fills a need. He's 7'1", right? 7'1", 240. And Golden State has never been big down the middle. I know they don't play big and necessarily has hurt him in the past, but this is a need that they can fill with the skilled player. They execute both sides, and I think it'll be great. So I'm taking Wiseman number 2 to Golden State.
Yeah. So for Golden State, I've got Melo Ball going Golden State for number 2. Ooh. Yeah, it's one of the teams he worked out for. He as you mentioned, Marco, he's an elite player. His passing IQ is really high. Imagine a Melo Ball playing with Steph Curry. That would be sick. I can see it. So I have Melo Ball going 2. Again, I think he would actually be a good fit in Golden State. If they decide to go with him. So I'm going to say Melo Ball for 2.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, that's a shock in my opinion. I just don't see the fit in Golden State because they've got Klay. I mean, yeah, you could throw Klay at the 3 spot and put LaMelo at the 2, but I mean, you've already got 2 of the best shooters in the game on one roster. And Curry's got a good playmaking ability too. I mean, they don't really need LaMelo, but like you said, Marco, I agree with you. James Wiseman is the pick here. He's the best fit for that roster. They've never had a center who's able to protect the rim like he's able to protect the rim. He also has the offensive ability to play on the offensive end as well, to complement Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry on that roster. I mean, you look at his stats. He had almost 20 points a game this year, almost 11 rebounds per game. He averaged 3 blocks a game. That's his ability and he's going to be, like I said, a great rim protector, a great lob catcher with a team that's got, Steph Curry who could throw the lob passes. Klay Thompson, they're just going to be a tough team to beat if they draft James Wiseman, in my opinion.
I'm still in shock but I like the shock. I like the shock, I like what Clark did. He went complete opposite and
tried to switch it up, man.
But listen, you said it right off the top of the record in here is that this is 2020 and anything is possible. Minnesota can completely just blow everybody out of the water and not take Melo and then think, or just completely go off the board and take somebody who wasn't even a top 3. You never know what's going on in those war rooms with the scouts and the GMs and et cetera, because all it takes is one guy to pull the trigger. We know that every sport has that one guy that says, yeah, we're going to take him. And then when they get up there, it's like, so we're taking this guy. It's like, well, what? Who?
Yeah, back
shocks to the NBA.
Like the Raptors, Rafael Araujo.
Still too soon for that,
right? Moving on to number 3, the Charlotte Hornets. They could go anywhere with this pick in terms of who they could draft. they're an up-and-coming team. They have a lot of decent pieces on that roster, but the Charlotte Hornets, they've struggled for years and years and years to get into the playoffs, to stick into the playoffs. So who do you think they go with the number 3 overall selection here?
Well, to me, it's obvious, or maybe not obvious, but to me, is they haven't filled the void that Kemba Walker left, right? They need somebody who can come in and be sort of ready to go and take him to that next level as far as putting the ball in the basket. So to me, is Anthony Edwards if they're lucky, he falls to number 3, and I think the Charlotte Hornets take him. I think if the Hornets get Anthony Edwards, they'll be thrilled. I honestly do think so, and they filled needs. He's 6'5", shooting guard. He is, and I think that, I don't know if you guys agree, but some people have said he's probably one of the best prospects, if not the most ready to play prospect in this draft. So if I'm Charlotte, if I'm Michael and them guys and Mitch Kupchak, if he is there, I don't even wait the clock to run out. I'm picking him and leaving. Well, it's virtual, right? So you can't leave the building. And I'm hanging up my Zoom call, and that's it. Call it a day. So I got Edwards as number 3 to Charlotte.
So for number 3, I'm going to go with your guys' second pick, James Wiseman. I think I think he's top 3. I can see the Charlotte Hornets picking him up as their centerpiece. He's going to be a good rim runner for them. And I think he'll do great there in Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, if Anthony Edwards, I don't have him falling that far. I think he's gonna, even though he didn't work out for the Timberwolves, I think he goes to first, like I said. But if he's there at number 3, yeah, there's no way the Charlotte Hornets pass that up and say, okay, we're going with somebody else. There's not a chance. But I have LaMelo Ball going to the Charlotte Hornets. You guys have already mentioned it with LaMelo Ball. He's 6'6". He's a great passer. He does have a few questions in terms of his defensive ability, but he's got the size and the length to sort of hone that in the NBA and become a great on-ball defender. And I think he fits well into that system. You can move Rozier over to the number 2 spot.
Right.
Play LaMelo as your number 1, your number 1 point guard. It's a lot. It's a toss-up. And Michael Jordan, I know LaMelo. His father wants him to go to the Knicks, whatever.
Oh, listen to LeVar.
Right, but Michael Jordan, I think he would be okay with him playing under Michael Jordan, playing with Michael Jordan as the owner of the team there, and learning some of the ropes from Michael Jordan. So that's who I have going as a number 3 pick.
Even though, just keep in mind that let's not forget that LeVar Ball said that he could beat Michael one-on-one.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I actually hope that LaMelo Ball
gets drafted there
to Charlotte, because I cannot wait for the YouTube videos of Ball versus MJ.
True.
It's going to happen, boys. It's going to happen.
But see, this is what I think when it comes to his defensive maturity. I think he can get that from a Draymond Green. And even Stephen and Clay, they can teach him a lot in Golden State. So which is why I got him for the number 2 pick for Golden State.
All right, yeah, for sure.
Moving on, number 4, we got Marco's Chicago Bulls with the number 4 overall selection. Who do you guys have them taking at number 4?
Wow, I don't know how the Bulls are going to screw this up. So. I think that they're going to take the kid out of Dayton, Obi Toppin. Yeah, I think so. Playing with Billy Donovan, I think that's a nice fit for them. He's a great player. I think he was, correct me if I'm wrong, 0-star recruit, National Player of the Year in Dayton. So the Chicago Bulls are still trying to find their way, and I think that's a nice piece to go along with Levine and the other pieces that they have as well. So I think that the Chicago Bulls, to me, pick the power forward 6'9", ready to go. Let's go. Make this happen, Chicago. In saying that, they probably won't pick him, and they're going to pick some guy that we've never heard of. There's 2 teams in this draft that I don't trust: Minnesota and Chicago. Mm-hmm. I said what I said.
Yeah.
Go on.
No,
now I'm all jacked up.
I completely agree with you, Marco. I think I also have Obi Toppin for my number 4 pick with the Chicago Bulls. I think he would fit in good there with as you mentioned, Levine and the other guys there. He's a little bit questionable on defense, but that will come with his NBA experience and his time in the league. So I think number 4 is going to be Obi Toppin.
Yeah, for my number 4 pick, I'm going to go to Maccabi Tel Aviv here and draft Danny Avdija. He can play multiple positions. He can attack the rim, defend in the post as well. He was the MVP of the FIBA Under-20 European Championships. I just think he fits perfectly into that lineup as a small forward to complement Zach LaVine, who's another guy who attacks the rim, can also play multiple positions, so I think that he'd be the perfect fit for the Chicago Bulls, in my opinion.
If Zach LaVine even still there by the end of the week.
No, that's right? Very true. That's very true.
There's a lot happening, so this is, again,
a lot of wheels turning.
Right. These are our picks. What we think. It doesn't mean that teams like Chicago and Minnesota are going to, do what makes, not that we're making sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Moving on, number 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who do you guys have going at number 5?
I'm actually going to take your guy out of Tel Aviv, Danny Avdija. I think again, 6'9" forward, shooting forward. If he can fall to number 5, good playmaker. I think that the Cavs will be happy with that. I mean, they are still, again, one of those other teams like the Bulls and the Timberwolves that are still trying to find the right pieces to go forward. And, they picked, Drummond picked up the option now, so now they have sort of an idea of what exactly they have. I don't think he finishes the season there, so you never know. I don't see that this pick being moved. So I think that if he is available, and I was debating between this guy and the guy that I'm going to say next, if Cleveland takes him, but I think that if he's available at number 5, I think they take him. Yeah,
I agree. I have the same person, Danny, for number 5 for Cleveland, 6'9" forward. He's pretty good in the pick and roll. He's pretty good in transition. He's a little bit questionable with his outside shooting, but again, that's something you work on and develop over time while you're in the league.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that we have sort of the same picks there, man. Like we're thinking way too,
That's collusion. Is this collusion?
It's just for the last.
It's tampering. We talked about this before. Yeah,
right?
You weren't here. Yeah,
Damn
sorry.
At number 5, I have Obi Toppin going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's the oldest player in the draft right now, at 22 years old. He has a high motor, tenacious. He's a very tenacious dunker. I think his talent translates immediately to the NBA, just the way he played at Dayton and what we saw. He could do a mix of everything in the sense of he could step out on the perimeter, and he's also great in the pick and roll as well. So I think he's a perfect fit for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Moving on, number 6, we've got the Atlanta Hawks. Who do you guys have going to the Atlanta Hawks?
So this is the pick that I was, debating whether it's 5 or 6. So I'm going to stick with 6 here, right? We are at 6. Yeah, we're at 6 here with the Hawks.
Yeah.
At my favorite last name, Halliburton, because isn't that a city here in Ontario?
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton out of Iowa. Great shooter, guard, 6'5". I think he'd be a perfect fit for Atlanta, play behind Trae Young, right? Or with him as a 6'5" shooter. And let's face it, now the NBA has become almost a positionless league. So if you can shoot, you're gonna get some minutes. So I think if he's there, I think that the Hawks take him. However, if what we're hearing is true, they may not even take that pick or keep that pick, and if they flip him for somebody else, but we'll talk about that in another episode.
Yeah. Well, Marco, I think you've been copying my notes here, right? Because I also got Tyrese Halliburton for 6 going to Atlanta. He would just be an added bonus for them. He's pretty good ball handling skills. Would be great to play alongside Trae Young. So I think Halliburton is going to be the 6th pick going to Atlanta, if they keep it, as you said.
I have a feeling they won't. I don't know. Something tells me that they're not going to keep that pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's Atlanta. They always trade their picks.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see them definitely trading their picks. They're
the opposite of OKC.
Exactly. They don't have 16 first-round draft picks. But
17.
Right. I have at number 6. I have Killian Hayes going number 6.
Sure.
Right, he's a dynamic playmaker.
I like him.
He has a lot to improve in terms of. He still has a little bit to improve in terms of his jump shot. But there's a lot of teams that are interested in his upside, which is why I have him going at this spot. Because if the Hawks were to trade this pick, it's probably for somebody who is really interested in Killian Hayes and want to get him before he goes off the board, in my opinion. That's why I have him going to the Atlanta Hawks at number 6.
Okay. All right.
Moving on, number 7, we have the Detroit Pistons. Who do you guys have going at number 7?
The regular season champs. I actually have the Pistons taking your boy, Hayes.
Come on, Marco.
Yep. I was debating with him in my next pick, but I think that Detroit is missing. Well, first of all, Detroit has a lot of work to do. But from what I understand, they're looking to add somebody who's potentially could have been a top 5 player. So some people are sort of split down the middle with this kid. Some people have him as a top 5. Some have it outside the top 10. So, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to if they think that he can be a good shooter, that's a good fit in Detroit. So I think that they're going to take this pick, Killian Hayes, as their pick for Detroit. Out of France.
Yeah, I agree. I've also got Killian Hayes for going to Detroit for the number 7 pick. He, as you mentioned, Marco, out of France, he's 6'5", 192 pounds. He's a decent guard and point guard, and I could see the Detroit picking him, going with him for number 7.
Yeah, at number 7, I have this guy. I toyed with him going at number 3, to be honest with you, but I know it's 3, and it's a huge jump between 3 and 7, but Tyrese Halliburton at number 7. I think, to be 100% honest with you, I think he's the best point guard in this draft, in my opinion. I think he's going to be the better player than LaMelo Ball down the road. He compares a lot to Ja Morant and Russell Westbrook in terms of his skill set, which is saying a lot. But you add him to Detroit, he gets to play behind Derrick Rose, who we know his level of his tenacity and his fight and how he's come back and been able to, lead the Detroit Pistons this year, and what he's been able to do. And learning from him will be huge for Tyrese Halliburton. Yep. Moving on to number 8, we have the infamous New York Knicks. Is Frank Ntilikina on the board? Is he anywhere out there?
Why would you? Come on, man.
I'm just saying, I want to see Spike Lee get what?
Freak out?
Yeah, I just want to see it. I just love seeing it.
Well,
Who do you guys have going? Who do you have going to the Knicks at number 8?
I have the kid out of Auburn, Isaac Okoro. They need somebody who can friggin' stop the ball, play some defense, for crying out loud.
Yep.
So I think that listen, they know that he can play D. So if he can give him some scoring, I think they'll be okay. And I think let's not forget who the coach in New York is now, right? My guy, Tom Thibodeau. And what does Tom Thibodeau preach? Some defense. So I think Isaac could go in there and give him some D, and if they can get some scoring, that's fine, because I think that the Knicks will eventually add some more veterans to help their front court get some scoring. But I think that this kid is the right fit for this coach right now. So let's see what the Knicks do. So I have Isaac Okoro going to the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I've also got Isaac Okoro.
Come on.
This is getting ridiculous, guys.
It is. I also do have him
for
going to the New York Knicks. 6'6", 225 pounds. He will be a great lockdown defender in the league. New York could use some of that, so I think he'll go to the Knicks.
At the 8th pick for the Knicks, I have it's kind of a little bit off the board in terms he's kind of rose the charts this season, but he wasn't a starter. I have Patrick Williams going at number 8. He was a guy off the bench for the Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah.
He's quick, he's explosive, he's strong, he's athletic, and I mean if he could develop a 3-point shot, his upside is huge. And you look at their lineup in terms of their depth chart. Is he going to step into the lineup right away? No, he's very raw. He's got a little bit of time to kind of get some of that experience, get that 3-point shot, stuff like that. But Alfred Payton, R.J. Barrett, Maurice Harkless, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, he would fit perfectly into that number 3 spot in that lineup. And you already have a formidable team in terms of what you had this year with those 4 guys. So I think he's a perfect fit in my opinion. Will he pan out to be that? Probably not, because it's the New York Knicks, right? So, but we never know what'll happen, right?
Right.
Moving on, number 9, we have the Washington Wizards. Jesus, Washington State.
Washington State.
Like, man, what's going on? Washington Wizards.
To the Wizards, I think this pick they take Saddiq Bey, shooting forward out of Villanova, right? He's a wing, and he can shoot, man. He shot, I think, almost like 44, 45. I'm not sure what the number was, 44 out of 3 from downtown as a sophomore. He can guard a few positions, and I think that this is something that the Washington Wizards need. Again, a lot of chatter around the U.S. Capitol about who they're going to move or keep, so I think that they have to lay the groundwork to see who goes out and who comes in, and I think this is the perfect pick for them. So I got Saddiq Bey at going to the Washington State, apparently, the Wizards.
So for the Wizards, I got the guy you just picked, Shannon, Patrick Williams. I got him going.
This guy. Okay.
Shooting forward from Florida State. He's 6'8", 225 pounds. He's pretty good on the wing. He maybe even be able to play some small ball with them. I think he would be a good pickup for them, and probably fit in good over there in Washington. So I got Patrick Williams going to the Washington State Wizards.
Hey, maybe it'll be a new team. Anyway, I was tossing up between the next 3 picks. I was tossing up between Marco's pick and then the 2 guys that I have here. But I have the Washington Wizards taking Devin Vassell out of Florida State. He was one of the most improved the players in all of college basketball last year. He helped lead the Seminoles to their first ACC regular season title. But I think he's a perfect fit for the Washington Wizards. Going there, he's a 6'7" forward, 195 pounds. But I think he fits perfectly into that lineup if they keep Bradley Beal and John Wall. I think he'll fit perfectly into that lineup.
That's a good pick. Okay, I see what you did there.
Right?
Yeah.
Moving on, number 10, we got the Phoenix Suns, who've been in the news lately about with trades and a lot of other stuff. But who do you guys have going number 10 to the Phoenix Suns?
Believe it or not, I'm actually going to take your guy that you just took,
come on,
Florida State. Now, Kelly Oubre is he's out. He's out of there, right? They're going to need another shooting forward. I know that they got some pieces around as well, but I honestly like this kid in that system, and I think that it's sort of an odd pick, right? But I like it. He's a wing with size, like you said, and I think that he can do some things with Phoenix. I would love to see him there with CP3. And Devin Booker. I don't know if he starts with, but man, I would love to see that. So I'm going to take your boy out of Florida State, Devin Vassell, to your team, the Phoenix Suns. Shannon.
Yeah, that's the same guy I got for the Suns, Devin Vassell. Pretty good spot up 3-point shooter. As you said, Marco, I would love to see him play with Devin Booker. CP3. He definitely can learn a lot from them. He definitely can also help them out with just stretching the floor and putting up some three for them. So I got Devin Vassell going number 10 for the Phoenix Suns.
And you guys had one different pick. Like, what's going on, guys?
No,
it's like three.
Oh, sorry. You had what?
Or
two?
four.
Two.
It's like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Anyways, number 10.
Just blame Marco. It's Marco's fault.
Always my fault.
Number 10, I have Onyeka Okongwu from USC. 6'9" forward, 245 pounds. Pairing him up with DeAndre Ayton, I mean, you're talking about probably one of the strongest front courts in the NBA, in my opinion. He averaged 16.2 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game last year. Showed he was tough on the glass. He was also good in the low post as well, and he's a good rim protector as well. To kind of imagine going up into the lane against DeAndre Ayton, who's a good rim protector. And now you add Okongwu in there as well, so another good rim protector. So you're not getting a lot of shots, not a lot of layups if you draft in Okongwu there. So that's who I have going number 10.
You think they play him at the 5 or they move him down to the 4?
I don't know. I think they play him at the 5, but I mean,
I think 5.
Yeah, but the problem is if you play him at the 5, you've got DeAndre Ayton. Do you move him to the 4? But he's a big guy too, right? Right. He's not really a 4 type player. So I don't know. Maybe they do draft. Maybe hopefully maybe Okongwu is off the board and they draft Vassell, but we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
Just gonna throw this out there. Charlotte could mess up and grab him for the 3rd pick. Just saying.
Okongwu?
Okongwu could go further up in the draft. I think he has the ability to go further up in the draft.
I don't think that's far-fetched, to be honest with you. I don't think that's far-fetched at all. So, again, it really depends on what teams – and this is the beauty of the draft, right? Like, everybody thinks that they should draft this guy, that guy, and front offices and management and coaching staff, they want to draft based on needs, based on the best player. So, you never know. And this is how sometimes you end up with some duds, some diamonds in the rough. Guys like that should be top 3 end up in the bottom 10. So, we're going to see a lot of action. A lot of these picks may not even, make it to their respective cities because it'll be flipped right after, especially now with everything that's going on in the NBA. So, listen, we can nail all the picks, and then all those picks can be completely flipped. So who knows? I can't wait.
These are just predictions. No one really knows what's going to happen until.
No, we know what's going to happen. No, we know.
I mean,
no, this is guaranteed. Go to your closest pro line and put money on that. Don't.
Unless it's like sued. 5 or 10.
to steal a line from Paul Heyman, these are not predictions; they're spoilers. That's what they are.
Pulled out the Paul Heyman.
Right? See?
Yes, sir. I love it. Okay. Good one. I like that one. Yes, sir.
Well, thanks for listening to our NBA draft preview. Thanks for joining us this week on the Basketball Lab podcast. Make sure to follow us on our social media. You could follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the B-Ball Lab. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Basketball Lab podcast, and you could also find us on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music.